Wow, wow, wow. The Jets just traded away Sauce Gardner to the Colts for 2 first-round draft picks and a wide receiver, who the Colts were done with. It just happened. I haven't seen that many reactions yet, so I'm kind of curious on what people are going to say. Me, I hate this trade. I really do not like this trade. I think it's bad. We have Sauce Gardner. He's a homegrown talent. Fans love him. A real, and sometimes this word in sports is overused, but when you're 1-7, you kind of have to use it. A real culture guy as well. And we trade him away. He just signed a giant extension, him and Garrett Wilson. We were locked down, number one wide receiver and number one cornerback for a decade. And then before he can really even play on this new contract extension, he gets traded. It is a big contract. I think he's the highest paid defensive back, and I don't know if he's the best defensive back in the league, but he's certainly up there. And we got rid of him, right? Of course, we're 1-7. We're not trying to win anything this year. You want to trade a player who has 2 years left on their deal and is in their early 30s? Fine, right? We're not going to do anything with you. We cannot build around you. Sauce Gardner is not that player. He is young, homegrown. He seemed to like the fans, and we had him for 5 years. We had him for 5 more years. Who's to say what we're going to be doing in 5 years? And this trade is crazy. I'm sure we're going to we already have, like, next free agency, we're going to have top 10 in cap space. So this is just going to make it even bigger, I presume. And so let's see if the GM can evaluate players, because the Jets for over a decade have not been able to evaluate free agents correctly with multiple general managers, because I think the truth of the matter is that really good players don't go on free agency. Teams keep their really good players, except for us. Yeah, I do not like this trade at all. This trade it's big, and Colts are, they're trying to win a Super Bowl this year because Daniel Jones is playing really well, and we clearly are not. But this trade is really, I do not like it. I'm speechless. I'm probably repeating myself, but right, like these Colts. That's the other thing. These Colts first round picks, right? This does kind of remind me of the Jamal Adams trade, when we traded Jamal Adams to the Seahawks, because we also got 2 first round picks that year. But the thing with the Seahawks is that they were kind of regressing. Russell Wilson was getting older, the defense was getting older, and the Seahawks, their mentality were still in win now mode, even though they were not a win now team. The Colts are, on paper, the best team in the NFL. This draft pick is going to be a pretty high one. If the Colts don't make the playoffs, that would be shocking. Right? Because one of the really good things with the Seahawks draft picks is that they ended up not being that high. High as in later in the first round. And at least, right, we're getting this year's Colts number 1 overall pick and next year's. So maybe next year the Colts fall back to earth, and this is a very valuable first round pick. But this year, this pick, it's basically a second round pick at this point, because I think the Colts are going to make a lot of noise in the playoffs. I don't know if I'm going to say they're going to win the Super Bowl, but like I said, they're one of the best teams in the NFL. So you're actually really getting a second round pick, and then we'll see what happens with the Colts next year. And that and a wide receiver who the Colts were mad at and were done with, right? And once again, the wide receiver, I don't know what contract he's under, but I don't think he's really built for the future, right? We're not trying to win now. Right? We're trying to build for the future, and Sauce Gardner is a piece for the future, and we'll see what these first round draft picks could become pieces for the future. But we'll see. We don't know, right? The draft is such a luck of the draw, especially with these later picks, which I think the Colts draft picks are going to be a lot later. It's such a luck of the draw, and it just trade does not seem worth it. We might he's one of the best pieces on a terrible, terrible team, and we can barely win games with him. So we'll see what happens without him. So on every level, this trade seems bad. Frees up cap space. Yeah, we already have top 10. Like, we're already going to have enough cap to sign whoever we want. Whoever wants to come here. No one wants to come here. We'll see if we're finished 1-16 or 2-15 this year. No one's going to want to come here. And good players don't hit free agency. Good players re-sign with their teams. They don't hit free agency. So the cap argument doesn't really make sense, right? We're getting 2 first-round draft picks, but they are going to be high, as in high-numbered first-round draft picks, which are basically 2 second-round draft picks if I had to predict it, looking how good the Colts are right now. That's another, that doesn't really make that much sense to me. You don't trade away one of the best players at their position for a possibility of getting a starter, right? A late first round pick you should be a starter, right? With the Jets, it's not that case, but let's pretend like we're not one of the worst teams in all of North American sports. A late first round draft pick is a starter who can maybe develop into a Pro Bowler. Well, we already have Sauce Gardner's already a Pro Bowler, so that doesn't really make that much sense to me. And then, like I said, we're obviously not trying to win now. The Colts are. This is a great move by the Colts, but he's not. Sauce Gardner is not Sauce Gardner is a win now move and a build for the future move because he's so young. So yeah, I don't know. My thoughts are so clear. Like I said, this just happened. Today is the trade deadline, so just brutal. I don't think we're gonna make any more moves. I wonder if this means we're gonna re-sign Breece Hall, because now we have like $15-20 million freed up. But like I said, we already had a bunch of money freed up because we're not paying a quarterback, right? Obviously, Justin Fields is getting $20 million next year, which sounds like a lot, and in reality is a lot. But in the world of football, $20 million for a quarterback is actually a pretty cheap deal. Justin Fields is one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL right now. So I'm not saying that deal is good or bad, but when you're not paying a quarterback, you can have the luxury of paying a running back, paying a cornerback. And so yeah, I liked Sauce. It's emotionally, of course, it's really sad to see him go. Actually, for Halloween, I just put on Sauce Gardner's jersey because I'm lazy, but I liked him. I liked him a lot. And emotionally, I think that this sucks, obviously, but I also do think strategically this doesn't make a whole lot of sense unless you have to hit, right? The Jets don't hit a lot on the first round picks. We hit on Sauce Gardner. So, and he was, I don't know, top 10, top 15. So these draft picks are probably going to be 20, 25, 30-ish. And now, especially the Colts have Sauce Gardner, they're going to be really good. Are we going to hit on the same level? Right? This I don't think these first round picks, right? That's the thing with a first round pick. Oh, it sounds super good, right? What does that mean? A first round pick is nothing unless you're good at scouting. And we'll see if this new administration is good at scouting, good at player evaluations. So just a tough day to be a Jets fan. We won last week, had a bye, and now we get to play the Browns, and that seemed like a very winnable game. I'm not saying Sauce Gardner, right, especially on this team, is going to move the needle that much. But we'll see what happens this Sunday. But you guys let me know how you think down in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, I guess, if you want to follow me ramble and watch the Jets lose every week. But bye-bye.